All right, are you into mountains or music? How about potatoes or barbecue? Well, in today's video, Dave and I are going to break down the differences between Idaho and Tennessee because a lot of people are trying to pick where to move. We're going to tell you which one to move to. Stick around. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel, hit that subscribe button, tap the notifications bell so you can stay up to date on all of our latest content. We put out a lot of content. Be sure to check out our podcast as well on the same channel. Our team, we get calls, texts, and emails every single day from people just like you trying to learn more about North Idaho. So if you guys are thinking about making that move, give us a holler. Also, I might add, we've got a custom home builder in-house now, North Idaho Experience Custom Homes. They're building my house. Check them out. Let's go. All right, first up, we're going to talk about geography and landscape. Dave, let's dive into Idaho first because it's near and dear to our hearts. We do live in North Idaho, full disclosure.
Look, this is going to be a tough one for me because how do I compare these two places? I actually never considered Tennessee when we moved up here, but when you look at Idaho, I mean, especially North Idaho, you are completely surrounded by mountains. You're right on the edge of the Rockies. I mean, just there's so much water up here. I mean, everything about it, when you look around and people say like, well, I want to be able to have, somewhat of a city center and kind of a, a little bit of an urban life and a downtown district. You can have that, but then they want to be 30 minutes away or less and feel like they're on their own ranch, that they're gone. They can't see neighbors. They got trees around them. And that's so common up here. So, I mean, the landscape up here from, like I said, and the fact that we actually sit at the foothills heading into Montana, man, you can take off to so much state land. It's unreal.
Yeah. And let's factor in the whole state because you've got a pretty diverse landscape. Down in Boise area, it's high desert. Central Idaho is just rugged. You've got, the Frank Church Wilderness out there. It's a great hunting, pretty low population there as well. So Idaho as a whole has a pretty diverse landscape. I find it all to be beautiful. I'm not a huge fan of high desert, to be honest. So Boise area didn't appeal to me personally.
We got sand dunes down there.
Good point.
Right.
That exists here.
Yep.
What we don't have, and this is where Idaho will beat out Tennessee, I think, is we don't have a bunch of poisonous shit that tries to kill you, like snakes and spiders.
They're just big things.
They
that
exist
try to kill
here.
You.
I'm pretty sure there are rattlesnakes in Idaho. I don't think we have them.
Man, I think in southern Idaho, when you look at the rattlesnake map, but I have not heard of anything.
I heard
up
recently
here.
Someone spotted one over near Spokane or Spokane Valley.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's confirmed though.
Maybe down. I know Lewiston has.
Okay, so that's not
Lewiston's
far.
had some. Yeah. Do you have a major elevation?
I
drop
have
over
seen
there too?
black widows here. I did see a black widow, so they do exist. But other than that, I mean, we don't have a ton. You're right. The things we do have are large. At least you might hear them coming.
Right.
And we're talking about bears and wolves and moose.
And mountain lions.
Moose will stomp the living shit out of you. So,
so yeah, I think geography here, it's way different. I mean, you go to Tennessee, now you're in rolling hills.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Rolling hills, what is it, the Smoky Mountains?
You've got the blue, what is it, the blue, I think I had it written down.
There's the Smoky Mountains over there.
Smoky Mountains are yes, they are. And then there's the Blue Ridge Mountains are in that area as well. So you have, they're not like the mountains we have here, I don't think.
No. Much more rolling hills. I mean, even driving through the Appalachians when we went there not too long ago, I was surprised that I was actually in a mountain range.
Yeah.
Like it looked like these really long open hills, right? Very different for sure.
It is very lush, more rainforesty than we have here for sure.
Yeah.
There are lots of lakes and rivers in both. The main difference, and I can speak on this because I grew up on the East Coast, the main difference over there, the water is generally like brown-ish. The water up here is crystal clear. Like you could almost dip a glass into it and drink from it. Probably shit your pants, but don't do that. But it looks like you could do that. So like beauty wise, man, I like the lush look, but with that comes nasty, more nasty insects and crappy like that.
I think if you're looking for views, I think Idaho takes it all the way because you can get elevated over here, right? Like you can get up, you can see the valleys, you can see the lakes. Where over there, you have a lot less of that ability to get up on top of a mountaintop and really see a long way. I get lost when I'm in states like that where it's pretty flat.
Yeah, you've got I
don't even know what direction I'm driving.
The last of the Mohicans, rolling hills, right?
Big difference.
Yeah. This will actually lead us into the next topic, which is going to be climate and weather. You want to touch on Idaho climate?
Oh, yeah.
You like Idaho climate?
I do because the Tennessee climate just freaks me out. Like hearing all the things over there. So Idaho climate, when people ask, like, what are the natural disasters over here? Well, And obviously it's a little bit off of climate, but
Russians.
we don't have earthquakes, we don't have tsunamis, we don't have hurricanes, we don't have tornadoes. We do get rain, but something I'll tell you, man, when it rains here, there's a reason why we have one of the highest producing aquifers in the world with the Spokane Prairie Aquifer. The ground percolates.
Are you saying aquifer?
Aquifer is
Fur.
that's what you rub on your skin. Aquifer. My bad. We don't have any. Well, you can buy aquifer up here, but the aquifer is one of the highest producing aquifers in the country and in the world. So the ground percolates so well here. When it rains, everybody asks, like, does it flood? I mean, you just had those horrendous, if you're looking for a timing when we shot this video, we just had those horrendous floods down in Texas, right? Just terrible. We don't have that up here because the water up here, naturally, we have so many waterways that the water knows where to go. A bunch of natural lakes, streams, rivers, creeks. And the fact is the ground percolates so well that it fills that aquifer so quickly that we have a lot of high producing wells, really, really good water, really clean water. So that definitely with the climate and the weather up here, we just get, even when we get rain, we don't have big issues with it. I'd say the two biggest things that we're going to deal with in terms of climate and weather up here are wind, and not like phone winds. You love it when I say it.
You use that word.
Not like the Santa Anas that blow seasonally, but a frontal wind. If we get a heavy storm that comes down from the north, we will get heavy frontal winds. We had winds here, in 2020 that were like 100 miles an hour.
It wrecked.
Took down trees, dropped on houses. I mean, it was gnarly.
It's rare.
It is.
It's not like constant, right?
But it's something you can see coming too. It's a frontal wind, right? And then the other thing we have obviously is snow. Everybody's afraid of the snow. The truth is, to have a snowmageddon up here, I remember we've had a couple where they've called it snowmageddon. And man, people are still outside. Schools kept going. Roads were plowed. Yeah, it was a lot of snow, but it didn't stop life up here.
Yeah.
Very little power outages, everything else. So really, snow and wind would be the two major climate issues that you'd probably deal with up here.
And the only other natural disaster is Russian invasions, if you are a fan of Red Dawn. So,
yeah, no, good one.
Yeah. Thank you. Thought about that.
What about Tennessee?
Tennessee. So I went and visited Tennessee. Full disclosure, we were poking around looking at places to move, and we did go to Tennessee to check it out. While we were there, the first night in our hotel, we got a tornado warning, and we were at a pizza place next to the hotel. The front doors blew open, and like everybody in the room like rushed to shove the doors shut. It was wild. I don't know if a tornado actually came through, but the winds were insane. And then I remember, we were running from the pizza place to the hotel, and my kids, it was all exciting, and the world was coming to an end. That was the first night in Tennessee. You're going to get a lot more thunderstorms down there, things like that.
Humidity.
Like that wind that pops up. The humidity is atrocious in the summertime.
Yeah.
Wintertime, I think it gets a little chilly. Not like here, but you'll probably get some snow in the mountains down there.
I think winter's pretty nice in Tennessee.
I don't know if it's nice.
Okay, maybe.
I'm guessing you're getting like 40s, 50s maybe.
Oh, that's good.
Which is okay.
You're not getting dumped on in snow, so I'd say they have that up on us for sure.
Yeah, but I think the humidity balances out, and humidity sucks.
Yeah.
Especially when you have hair like ours. And so I personally would choose what I would consider a fairly moderate climate in Idaho. Depending on where you come from, right? If you come from Arizona, it's cold as shit up here. But if you come from the East Coast and it's like, whatever, it ain't no big deal. So I guess you got to balance that out in what you like.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tennessee has 4 seasons like we do. They do have fall, because I've seen the colors down there.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet fall's really pretty, but there's one thing, like Idaho, when people want 4 seasons, there is a very distinct spring, summer, fall, and winter here every year. Now they can be angry, right? They don't always start at the same time. I wish they would.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had long winters, I've had long summers, I've had short falls, I've had long falls, all those different things. So I would say, I mean, like I said, to have the 4 seasons, I love that.
It takes me back to my childhood growing up on the East Coast. I love that too.
Next one's cost of living between Idaho and Tennessee. So I'll hit Idaho. So Idaho, we are definitely having a rise in home prices. Values in both North and South Idaho have gone up tremendously, especially since 2019. So you are definitely seeing, increased cost of living up here in terms of home prices. However, there has been a little bit of a lull. Things have leveled out a little bit. Things have become more affordable. There's, more things coming out from lenders and other ways to get into homes up here. The other thing about here for cost of living is that our power is really cheap. Electricity, water is nothing
Super cheap
to pay for up here, which is great. So the utility costs are really low. Homes are going up. Absolutely. Prices have gotten up a bit. You don't get as much as you could before. People were coming up here in like the early 2000s and they're like, oh, for $250, I'm getting a house and 10 acres and all this stuff. And that's just not realistic now. So I'd say if you're looking to move to North Idaho, definitely start getting familiar with the market, whether that's looking on, online, having us send out properties, because it helps taper your expectations on what you can get. People that are moving up from places like Southern California that are selling homes, for ridiculous amounts down there seem to be able to buy things cash up here. Other people that born and raised up here, it's becoming harder and harder because the prices have gone up significantly where the pay hasn't necessarily caught up with that. Another thing about cost over here too is that, so sales tax in Idaho is 6%. And then we do have income tax, but it's not super high. So, but like he'll talk about with Tennessee, everybody gets your money somehow. Property taxes here are extremely low. You see on an average $800 to $1 million house, you're looking at anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a year for, you get your homeowner's exemption.
Yep.
So just way less cost in terms of taxes for that.
That's crazy cheap. I know a big draw for Tennessee. I know a bunch of retired cops. They love heading over that way, right? There's no income tax. I don't think they tax pensions, and that's another one too, which is an income. So that's a big draw, right? You're like, oh shit, I can save money and I can go there. And Tennessee's a fairly conservative state, so it's very attractive to them. But they always get you somewhere, right? Income or sales tax over there is 9.5%, which is pretty high. And then I don't know what the property tax is, but I'm guessing it's higher, but because they always find a way to balance it out, right? Their government is going to get their money somehow or another. So yeah, maybe you're looking at it like, oh, I'm not going to get taxed on my pension or my income, but they'll find a way. So you got to factor that balance in and see what works for you.
Cool.
All right, next up, we're going to talk about economy and job market. Okay, Idaho, it is budding, right? There's a lot of tech moving into the Boise area. Boise is becoming a big city. We'll talk about that in a minute when we get to politics. And you've got a lot of agriculture, outdoor tourism when you get up into North Idaho. Logging is still a thing up here. Actually, mining is still a thing up here. So there are jobs. They are maybe not as prevalent as you're going to find down in Tennessee area because Tennessee has more larger urban populations. But it's growing. Coeur d'Alene itself, if you're talking about North Idaho, it has just full of entrepreneurs. The spirit of entrepreneurialism is strong and thriving here. If you follow our podcast, we've had quite a few podcast episodes with local businesses that kind of, are in the firearms industry, outdoors industry, just cool stuff like that kind of taps into the niche of people that like to live here. So that is a big deal. Like I said, Boise is a large metropolitan area. There's quite a few bigger type jobs down in that way. But, is it going to compare even with Tennessee? Maybe not.
Yeah, I think Tennessee wins this, to be honest.
I think you're probably.
I will say the two crossovers. So the biggest one is going to be hospitality. Yep. Right. Tennessee has a ton of hospitality. So does Coeur d'Alene and Northern Idaho. Big hospitality industry. And I'd say for North Idaho too, the big ones are outdoors, hospitality, and like you said, entrepreneurship. So Tennessee, I think, wins this one. If you're looking for just basic jobs, you have a lot of crazy manufacturing over there. You have FedEx over there. Obviously Nashville, anything in music and hospitality and that. I mean, that is a huge city, a thriving city. So you're going to find everything from A to Z if you could be on the outskirts of Nashville, right?
I drove through Nashville when we were down there, and I'm like, I'm not even stopping here. It was a wild scene.
Yeah.
Way too crowded for me. I was like, negative.
Yeah, that's not for me either. But, we obviously put some notes down here. Another thing, too, is that auto manufacturing, Volkswagen and Nissan are both down in Tennessee as well.
We don't have that.
No, and you won't find stuff like that in Idaho. Idaho is definitely not one of the states that pushes a lot of manufacturing and those types of things. We do have some manufacturing over here, but on a smaller level. You have Buck Knives, you have G9 ammo, you have Alien Gear holsters, right? You have a lot of these smaller manufacturers, and so there are those things, but not at the level that you're going to find in Tennessee.
I wonder if we'll see that growth. I know Idaho is very friendly to businesses, and
I don't think we have the infrastructure up here to support a FedEx support. You know what I mean?
Potentially in Boise, though.
Down there, you could.
Yeah.
Down there, they definitely have
North Idaho is a little bit trickier. We don't have. We're a little bit geographically limited in North Idaho.
100%
because of the mountain ranges.
Yep. Get here in the next 10 years. Otherwise,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we're going to talk about education. When it comes to schools, we have to be a little bit careful how we speak because, if we don't have kids there, I don't like to represent that school. So we'll talk as a whole. And if you're looking for more information about schools specifically, like in North Idaho, I would check out websites like niche.com. Also check out the Facebook group Moving to North Idaho. If you find that, get the one with like 5,000-ish.
It's the only big one.
It's the only big one. Get the big one, right? And you can jump into that group. You can ask questions. You're not going to be attacked by some nasty person out there, some troll, because it's moderated. So there will be a moderator that shuts those people down and boots them out. So you can find, I hate to use the word safe space, but it's a safe space that you can go ask questions about moving to North Idaho, all the things, and no one's going to jump your shit.
It's a non-a-hole space.
Non-a-hole space. So it's a useful resource. When we talk about higher education, right? Idaho, I don't know. We hold our own. We've got Boise State.
For the amount of people in the state, we have just over 2 million people. You have Boise State, which is one of the largest universities in the country. It's D1. They compete every year in just about everything.
Okay.
And then you have University of Idaho, which is the other big college here. Not near as big. For a lot of people that like that local feel, that small town college feel, right? Which you get with like San Luis Obispo and places like that. University of Idaho is perfect for that. Moscow is a cool, small, quaint community. It's isolated, relatively safe. You're right on the border there of Washington and Idaho, right across from Pullman, where you have Washington State University. A really cool little spot. So yeah, those are the two main universities here that really compete. But for 2 million people, I mean, it's a big draw for those two.
Yeah, I don't know the population of Tennessee. I should probably know that, but I'm sure it's quite a bit more than we have.
Oh,
here
yeah.
Because you've got.
I'll find out.
You've got Nashville. You've got Memphis. Those are big cities.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to say 7 million.
7 million?
Yeah, that's my guess.
But 7.228
total
million.
Guess. Total
yes.
guess. Total guess.
7.25.
Okay.
Basically is where we're at.
So yeah, quite a bit bigger. But they've got some big schools down there. You've got Vanderbilt, University of Tennessee. So they have pretty good higher education. I don't know about the school grade stuff. I'm sure it depends on what township you're in or whatever. If you're in the big city, it probably sucks.
Look, public school, if we go into Tennessee and say, they probably have a lot more resources, a lot more government funding for those types of things. Maybe. But what I will say is that here, look, in general, public school sucks. What you will find, it does.
You're
public
right.
school, not trying to piss anybody off here, but public school sucks. It's not the teachers, right? The teachers do an amazing job. Yeah. The administrators do an amazing job. But you have so much political influence that is bullshit for our kids that they teach really. I mean, if you're a kid that excels in public school, you learn hardly anything because it's constantly tapered to the lowest common denominator, right? Yep. You pull all these kids together. People don't get to expand. They don't get to excel in things. It's just really just this grouping, and it's really a government organization that's just trying to daycare your kids.
Yeah.
So you see the big difference, and maybe Tennessee has this, but I know up here there's a huge push. There's a lot of homeschoolers, right? People
not the weird ones like your kids. They're pretty normal kids.
You were homeschooled, weren't you? Yeah. But actual good homeschoolers, right? And a lot of programs for that, and a lot of support from even the local school districts to give you money to be able to homeschool. So that's really good. But I will say also, if you're at Lakeland School District, it's pretty neat to walk up to a school where your kids go into, to high school or junior high, and there's a sign on the door that says, "Our teachers are armed for the safety of our students." Yeah.
Say no more.
That's awesome. Protect the kids.
Idaho gets the win, in my opinion. This is perhaps one of my favorite topics because it's so decisive. Politics and culture. Let's talk about Idaho politics first.
Super conservative.
In case you haven't heard, it's pretty damn conservative. And contrary to what you might hear from some people, it is becoming more and more conservative because it's a hot location for conservative families to move to, right? Based on all the freedoms that we have up here, there is a gathering of like-minded individuals up here, which I find it to be wonderful. In my opinion.
I think it's great. And honestly, you do have certain areas that have a tendency to lean or turn purple are going to be Boise, right?
Yeah. It's not there yet. We just did a video about that, but if there were any place in Idaho,
it would be there, right? You start to get certain influence, you start to get certain income coming in there, especially government assistance, funding, university, stuff like that has a tendency to change the mold. That's why I brought up University of Idaho. Very different, very local, very small town feel, right? Where Boise State, it attracts people from all over the country, where University of Idaho has a tendency to attract a lot of Idahoans.
Yeah. I think, as we all know, like these dense urban populations tend to head more towards the blue side. I don't really know the reason why, but that's what happens. You've seen it in many other states. So I think Tennessee's probably going to lose out on this one. I know there are a ton of great conservative people there. A lot of people move there because it's a conservative state. However, you've got large urban populations like Memphis and Nashville that I imagine have the strong potential to flip the vote in that state.
Well, look at Washington, right? Washington is ran by Seattle. You have an entire eastern portion of that state, Spokane and the whole region, that is extremely conservative. The whole farming community, 80% of that entire state is very conservative in terms of land, right? And the people in Spokane don't have a voice. You have Seattle that runs that entire state, and they tell everybody else what to do. Same thing that happens in Oregon, 80% of that place. But when you go to Salem and you go to Portland, they have the vote. They run the rest of it. All the farmers, all the people that are needed to keep that state running are dictated by the bigger cities. Yeah. And I think that's the big fear with Tennessee, is that you have two major cities that have a tendency to make the dictation on how you're going to vote and how that state is going to turn out.
Yep, 100%. Kind of on that note, safety and crime, I believe they're firmly related. Yeah, when you have politics and crime, it tends to go this way, whether you like it or not. Idaho, the crime rate is very low compared to the national average. We just did a video about this as well. And it is extremely safe place to live overall. What Eric says, it's like Part 1 crimes in North Idaho are down like 70%.
They're down incredibly low. Yeah. And a lot of that is just due to heavy policing and enforcement, right? You know, blatant disregard for the law and stuff like that is not allowed. Idaho is one of 4 states that still criminalizes the use of marijuana. Now, let me make sure that people understand the difference between it being legal and the difference between, illegal and criminalized is the same thing as over in California, which how much meth can you have now in California? And you just get a ticket?
I don't know the amounts, but I remember when it happened.
There's a user amount,
there,
right?
Yes.
That you get a ticket, not a misdemeanor.
Correct.
So the difference is because when you get a ticket, it's not criminalized, right? That's just it's a fine versus getting a misdemeanor and actually being able to be taken to jail. If you have a joint, if you have paraphernalia with remnants, with trace elements of marijuana, heroin, any of these things, fentanyl, methamphetamine, you go to jail.
Yeah.
So, the fact that we're on a state border where you go right across the border and there's a dispensary over there, and then you bring that across and you can be arrested in Idaho, the enforcement over here is very high. People have a tendency to
people might find that crazy, right? Personally, I don't really care if people smoke weed. However, there is a direct correlation with other crime that comes along with it.
But I do care if people follow the law that we voted on over here, right?
Yes. I've watched, personally, I was a cop in California. I watched as marijuana became decriminalized and then all of the hard drugs did. And that is when the state started to go into serious decline on a number of fronts.
Yeah.
Homeless population ticked up, everything went wrong.
It sucks.
It sucks.
Because people are not responsible. So you can bring up your argument all you want on how marijuana has medicinal purposes and everything else. You know what? The thing is that you can even give somebody medicinal morphine, right?
Sure.
People are not responsible. When you open things up for people, they make terrible choices. Look at alcohol. Nobody ever wants to bring that up, right?
That's a big one.
People are irresponsible with alcohol. And so, the fact that there is just more things coming down the line.
Can you pass me the whiskey?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Which one? I offered some before we started doing this.
No kidding.
I was going to try and be irresponsible on this podcast here.
Now, Tennessee marijuana is legal, so say what you will. We've seen what happens in California, Oregon, and Washington.
Let's see what happens with it.
I suspect, and Colorado too, I suspect they're going to regret that at some point.
Look, there is a tie to politics and marijuana in this sense. It's about money, guys. Don't jump on the whole medicinal train with marijuana. It's not about that. When you look at Nashville is a party central.
Oh, yeah.
You have a state like that has legalized certain things, and they're going to continue to protect the industries for the rich.
Yep.
Right? The ones where people are going to come in and they realize that they can make money off of it, they are going to politicize it, and they are going to do what they can to vote so they can continue to dispense. That is what it's all about.
Yep.
There's people that you will see that own something and they don't even participate in it because they don't believe in it, but they want to make the money from it, right?
Yeah.
I don't see the people the Sacklers, right? They were responsible for.
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Oh, dude, we just watched this on Joe Rogan. I have to talk about this. So the Sackler family,
Yeah.
who's now under investigation, they're worth billions, right? They were the pharmaceutical industry. The Sacklers were responsible for, was it not fentanyl, codeine?
Like some type of opiate.
It's another one. It's another what is it? It gets described. It's
Norco.
No.
Vicodin.
Oh gosh, Oxycontin.
That's a doozy.
So Oxycontin, they talk about what happened with that, right? Because it was about the money, but you don't see the Sacklers running around taking Oxycontin. But you see them getting it out there. They going through the FDA and making it to where it has approval and everything else, but they're not the ones that are taking it.
It's the same reason that you see, Facebook executives, if you hear them talk about it, they don't let their kids have Facebook.
Exactly.
Right? Same thing.
There's an opportunity there when you start doing that. And then you take these big urban centers where you have a lot of people that want to party, they want to hang out. I mean, look at the alcohol industry. I guarantee you there's people that work in the alcohol industry on the very top that probably don't drink.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that's my fear with it. That's my only thing with making that stuff legal, is that it opens up opportunity for people to prosper financially on it, and with disregard for any safety or anybody else in the country. So
Tough one.
yeah. All right. Next section is lifestyle and entertainment, starting with Idaho. Look, if you do not know how to entertain yourself, North Idaho especially may not be the best place for you. You need to be in touch with the outdoors, taking a hike, getting in the water, going snowboarding, snowshoeing, shed hunting, morel mushroom foraging, huckleberry picking. If those are not things that excite you, I will just tell you that this may not be the right place for you. We do not have a heavy entertainment industry. We do not have sports teams. We do not have a lot of these things, barring our local sports teams, our AAA leagues of the Spokane Indians and Spokane Chiefs. We don't really have a lot of that over here. So when you look at that compared to Tennessee, it's really hard for Coeur d'Alene to put up an entertainment value other than a very active lifestyle.
Best concert in Coeur d'Alene. Go.
Oh, dude, Nate Smith. Yes, that was the best. So concert in the dirt. That's our big thing, right? We have concert in the dirt. It's you literally wear cowboy boots. You're outside. It's an hour and a half long.
But what did you say when we were there last year?
Oh, dude, we were there and we're having such a good time. I looked around. I'm like, man, if this is it, if this is like the final stand of people, if this is the community that I'm going to die with, I'm like, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
These are the people I want to be with. This is the place that I want to be. I love it. It's amazing.
It was like, you look around and you're like, relatively fit, clean people, nice, like cowboyed up.
Jack and
or
Cokes,
not, but just
drinking beer, cowboy
vibe.
boots. Yes.
Chill vibe, man. No freaking gangsters running around. None of that bullshit. It was just like good old people.
Families too.
Salt
Our
of the
kids
earth.
were there.
Yeah.
So much fun.
That was my favorite concert.
Yeah, we're going again this year.
Yeah.
Who do we have this year?
I don't know. Not Nate Smith. And I really like that Nate
That
Smith
was
concert.
really good. Yeah, that was another one.
So, I mean, the entertainment is different up here.
Yeah.
But people that are looking for that outdoor lifestyle, I mean, you cannot find a better option.
Oh, dude, it's an
opinion.
outdoor enthusiast.
Right. Hunting, fishing, it is phenomenal. And I know Tennessee has that, but I think the bigger focus down there is, country music, the big concerts, the big sporting events.
Right.
If you're like us, I hate that shit. I don't like large crowds. I get very uncomfortable in that. We're both former cops, so cops don't do crowds, man. That's just the reality of it.
We don't do crowds so much that I got in trouble for my anniversary because I bought my wife.
I can't believe you did that.
I know. There's somebody on here being like, I hate this guy. I can't believe he did this. There's some wife watching this be like, you are the dumbest guy. I bought my wife tickets to a concert. I bought her 3 for our anniversary. And I was like, take your friends. I did not want to go. I guess I shouldn't have done that for my anniversary. Maybe it could have been. Yes, it was. I don't want to go. No, there's too many people there. That was the dumbest thing I could have done.
All right. So you'll catch us at the concert in the dirt. And that's it.
But real quick, one other thing, food. Tennessee wins hand down.
Oh, shit.
We do not have a very diverse foodie lifestyle up here, but we got good food.
It's okay.
I'm
happy.
I'm happy with it. It's great. A lot of natural foods, a lot of fresh foods, a lot of locally sourced wild game. There's definitely what's the word? Not template, palette up here for those types of things, but you're not going to find like this diverse like Mexican food and Italian food, and we have that, but it's not what you're going to find in Tennessee. There's no chance.
I'm sure Tennessee. I don't know. Fried chicken down there is probably the shit, too.
Probably way better. So, but you can always fly there for the weekend. Go get that stuff and then come home.
Yeah, great place to visit.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, where are we at, Dave?
Why do we side with North Idaho? I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It gets in your blood. Like we say this all the time. We sell homes for a living, but our biggest job is informing people on the lifestyle up here. And it's so easy. I don't have to sell this place. You just take someone here. They come visit for the first time. They're like, holy shit, immediately.
Yeah.
I'm moving here. I don't know. I don't know if it's a spiritual thing. I don't know what it is, but it hit me the first time I came here. I walked out on the city beach by the resort downtown Coeur d'Alene, and I was like, "This is it."
I guarantee you, there's 100 people watching with the exact same story.
Like, damn, I did that too.
Come into town, and you're like, "I'm moving here."
They're like, "Why is this weird guy standing on the beach like this?" I'm like, I'm vibing, man. I'm vibing. I'm barefoot out there. Yeah, the whole deal.
Thank you guys for watching. This was good. Look, Tennessee versus Idaho. There's a lot of great places. If we can be a source of information for you at any time, we'd love to. Feel free to give us a call or text, and we'd be happy to link up with you and let us know if you're coming in town. We'll grab a beer.
Catch you later.